welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so happy to have you all here today. If you enjoy this video, please do like and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Today, we're going to go through some wedding drama because I really do love me a good wedding drama story. Catering, screwing up with wedding cake leads to mum blow up and a bad morning after. I'll start by saying that all of our wedding drama with vendors has come from our caterer. We thought that most of it has to do with communication on the front end, and that by the time the actual wedding happened, we'd be all set. For our wedding, we had our cake made by a professional wedding cake maker. The actual cake itself was one flavor, and then we had a kitchen cake, which was another. The plan was always that we would be serving both flavors and cakes to our guests. Well, turns out that the caterer completely forgot to cut the kitchen cake, and it never was cut or made it out of the kitchen. Being the bride and groom, we both were out on the dance floor talking to guests, doing our thing all night, so we never really noticed that only one of the flavors got served. I personally saw our chocolate flavor but never saw the vanilla flavor. It wasn't until after the wedding happened and I received an email from our wedding planner that our kitchen cake, the vanilla/autumn seasonal flavor, was never served. Well, fast forward to the next morning. We knew that everything left over from the night before needed to be out of our venue by 11 a.m. My parents had rented a van to remove parts of the decor left behind, and were planning on tag teaming it. As the bride and groom, we had really nothing to do with removing things from the venue, and we were looking forward to sleeping in at our upgraded room at a 5-star hotel. We had a late checkout in our executive suite, which they gave us for free because we are newlyweds. This is literally something that we've never done, and our room cost us more than the left behind half of the cake. My mother, who was staying 10 minutes away from the venue, and father, who was staying at a hotel about 30 minutes away from the venue, were supposed to pick up everything left over by the venue by 11 a.m. However, my mum was so upset that the caterer left behind the cake and that some of the things from the night before didn't go her way that she called my dad and said, "You deal with it." Unfortunately, without my mum's car, the cake, which was supposed to serve 75 people, could not fit in the van. This caused my father to repeatedly call my new husband multiple times in the 8 o'clock hour the morning after our wedding. Mind you, we did not get back from post-wedding drinks until close to 3 a.m. He wanted to tell him that we needed to go to the venue before 11 o'clock to pick up the cake, or else it would be thrown away and gone forever. This one half of the cake, of course, was about $650. The venue is about 35 minutes away from where our hotel is. Why my dad felt the need to call him at 8:30, I'm not really sure. All I know is that my alarm wasn't set until 11:20, since we didn't need to be out of our room until 12 o'clock. Just really disappointed that the combination of our caterer's screw up, my mum's bad attitude, and my dad's stress and not being able to problem solve led to a very chaotic and stressful morning after. We have 7 family members staying at the same hotel as us, and they all have cars. I wish he'd called any of them and asked if they could have driven to the venue with him to pick up the cake. We decided that instead of both of us leaving the hotel early to get the cake, my husband would just go and get it on his own and come back so I could go back to sleep. But I'm wide awake now. Just a bummer all around. I mean, that is a bummer, and your mum is very, very overdramatic. Things go wrong at weddings and you can't control them. You've just got to problem solve and get on with it and just deal with it the best that you can. And what are you going to do with that cake now, honestly? Like, you know, it didn't go out. It didn't feed the people it was supposed to feed. Are you just going to have another party and just like, you know, use that cake, you know, just to get rid of it? Or are you just going to cut it up and just give portions of it to people? Like, what are you going to do with it? Do you really need to go pick it up? But also, could your dad not just call someone else? But, you know, and I don't want to say it's all males, but I have two brothers and my dad, and they're all pretty useless. So, and without me to problem solve and to tell them what needs to be done, nothing would get done, trust me. My boyfriend single-handedly saved my friend's poorly planned disaster wedding. My best friend of 23 years announced in July she was engaged and asked me to be her maid of honor. I honestly didn't think our friendship was that close after being out of high school for 18 years, but I said yes. Planning started fine, but slowly devolved into chaos. S is extremely particular, wanting everything for her wedding at her exact specifications, while also having a dime store budget. Straight up cheap. She insisted she hosts a reception in her LDS church gym, while also declaring it hideous and insisting on ordering full wall, floor to ceiling pipe and draping and ceiling bistro lights. Despite wanting this, she was unwilling to pay for it and also bemoaned the expense. I finally stepped back from wedding planning in August because she was too demanding and exhausting. I told her my boyfriend and I would be happy to help her with some of the wedding setup the day prior so she could order the cheaper pipe and drape package. I left her to her own planning devices. I did throw her a bridal shower last weekend with the help of her cousin. Fast forward 8 weeks. She didn't even get her invitation sent out until 3 weeks before the wedding. She had a 250 person guest list. Oof, that will be expensive. Insisting all of them would come, and she decided to not serve actual food, so was only doing cheesecakes and then wedding sheet cake. She wasn't going to feed her wedding guests only cheesecakes. Not everyone likes cheesecakes, and not everybody likes cake. Like, your friend's cheap. Like, I understand doing a wedding on a budget. You don't want to spend that much money. 250 guests. And to be fair, probably only half of those 250 people that are invited are actually going to come. So, you know, like, whatever. My boyfriend tried to tell her double dessert was not a good idea. It's not. It isn't. But she was adamant. She told us to be at the LDS church at 7 a.m. the day before the wedding. My boyfriend and I were confused why she needed us that early, but figured it would be maybe 4 hours setting up tables and chairs, putting her linens on, putting down centerpieces, and then assembling the pipe and drape and be done. She gave me a list of 8 people who were all supposed to be there to set up, but no one except us and her fiance showed up. That's standard. That's absolutely standard. Not everybody shows up. My boyfriend very quickly and efficiently got all the tables shoved into orientation. I got chairs out. S bounced around the room in a panic, unable to decide how she wanted to configure tables. Her fiance stood there and watched. Finally, after half an hour of S changing her mind on table placement, my boyfriend said, "Nope, we aren't changing it. This orientation is beautiful and you will love it." Because he has far better communication skills than me. Sounds like he's got really good communication skills. He was even panicking that the 6-foot-long gifts table wouldn't be large enough to hold all her gifts. My boyfriend had to leave the room to not laugh. I assured her it would be fine. I thought we were close to being done. Wrong. This woman apparently didn't do anything until that day. She purchased a bunch of cheap dollar store crap, put it all in a giant tote, and left. She ordered linens from Shein and just put them as is in her box. She didn't open them, check them, iron them, nothing. At 8:30, she opens this box and proceeds to tell us she needs all the leaves cut off the garland because she wants them loose on the tables. She wanted pumpkins glued to her centerpieces, tea lights needed to be opened, batteries installed. She needed 27 tablecloths and table runners ironed, napkins ironed, Oh, and she needed to figure out her bouquet. My goodness, your friend's a mess. Your friend has no organizational skills and no idea how to plan a wedding. She should have hired a wedding planner or recruited a friend that knows how to plan a wedding, because this just sounds like the biggest disaster ever. I would have just walked off. I would have just gone, I'm sorry, you're not organized. You've done nothing. Like, you've done no prep work. Does she not realize that weddings and wedding setup takes time? As a certified wedding planner, this hurts my soul. I about died when I saw the sheer lack of prep she had done. My boyfriend was fuming. S was at a point completely incapable of even figuring out where to start. She needed someone to go to Costco to buy 9 cheesecakes, go to the bakery 45 minutes away and pick up the wedding cake and the sheet cake. She needed someone to purchase wedding flowers and assemble them into a wedding bouquet. She wanted me to go to a florist and call her on Zoom to show her the flowers while she sat at the venue waiting for the pipe and drape delivery. Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No. You go to the flower shop and you sort it out. It should have already been done. Oh, my gosh. Oh, goodness. My boyfriend said straight up, no. He told her we would go to Costco. We would buy all white flowers and her cheesecakes. She claims she will repay us. She probably won't. She begged us to call on Zoom to show her flowers, and he said, we are doing all white. Text us the flowers you hate so we can avoid them. Bye. We gotta move fast. She tried to ask if we could go to several different ones to find irises, and he very kindly told her no. If she wanted irises, she should have ordered flowers. She gets what Costco has, but don't worry, it's going to be beautiful and you will love it. We then ran the errands. Costco cheesecakes, sauces, flowers, ribbon, floral pins. Her job was to go home and get her iron and board. She said she was going to throw some of the tablecloths in her dryer with a wet towel to try and steam the wrinkles. Perfect. We came back at 10:30 a.m. She hadn't left. I don't even know what she was doing. My boyfriend and I then spent 2 hours building her a beautiful wedding bouquet. We found a pre-made bouquet that had some nice rust flowers and took a risk and brought it along with white roses. We had enough left over for bridesmaid bouquet too. Trust me when I say this bouquet he made was gorgeous. I would not have been able to pull it off as well as him. He then pre-cut her cheesecakes. We assembled the pipe and drapes while she just freaked out around us. Her mum and sisters showed up and I asked them to go to her house and put the linens in the dryer and return with her iron. So they went to do that, but then had to drive 45 minutes away to pick up her wedding cake and sheet cake. I told them to do that, but please stop and get the iron. They didn't. So she didn't provide any food for us at all. So we left to eat lunch, returned at 1 p.m. to learn that she actually didn't own an iron. They had the wedding cake and a 96-person sheet cake. The wedding cake barely fit in the fridge alongside the cheesecakes. The sheet cake was way too big. She had to just leave it on the counter and hope the buttercream held up overnight. Oof. Whew. No. Oh, I hope the weather where you live is not humid or hot. Oh my goodness. Because if you left a cake out in that had buttercream on it where I live overnight, trust me, that cake is not surviving at all. Oof. We still had rehearsal dinner to get ready for. paid for by fiance's family. We finally just had to leave, and I said I would have come back to the church after the dinner and help her iron. Dinner took entirely too long. I sent my boyfriend home because I could tell he was exhausted and he really doesn't even know her. Then she hit me with this bombshell. She wasn't going to the church to help us iron. What? She was moving out of her parents' house into her fiance's apartment that night. That night? It had to be done that night? It couldn't be done after? It couldn't have been done before? It had to happen that night? The night before the wedding? Oh my God, your friend. Your friend is a disaster. Her sister and I tried to tell her that she didn't need to do that. Just go on the honeymoon and move the rest of the stuff when she came home. It was her parents' house. Her stuff was fine. But she was adamant. She had to get all her stuff into his apartment that night. I finally left the dinner to go to the church and start ironing, and I called my mum and grabbed about it for 30 minutes. So then my mum drove over to help me. My goodness. And her family has done nothing. The rest of the night was me, my mum, S's disabled sister, and her 80-year-old mother ironing linens with my iron, my mum's iron, and a cheap steamer we bought at Walmart. She left me with a written list of instructions for how to set up each table to her exact specifications. No, ma'am, you did not. Oh my gosh. I would have just gone, I would have just thrown my hands up in the air and gone, this is going to be a disaster. I'm not helping you, I'm sorry, but you're a better friend than I am, obviously. She left all of the bridesmaids' dresses, her petticoat and her wedding dress hanging in the church for me to steam, and then told us to bring them to her mum's house. Oh no. I didn't even leave until 1 a.m. I was fumed that she didn't even get her stupid dress professionally steamed, yeah. And after all of that, this chick forgot her bouquet in the church fridge after I explicitly told her to bring it home with her. I didn't even think about it until 5 a.m. and I broke down crying because I knew she was going to call and ask me to drive up to get her bouquet for her, and I didn't even know when I would have the time for that. She called me the next morning asking me to drive 45 minutes to unlock the church for her to get her bouquet. Keep in mind, I was not invited to the wedding because it was at the LDS temple and I'm a heathen. You've done all this work for a wedding you're not even invited to? Oh my goodness. Whew. Then told me she needed me and my boyfriend to get to the reception church 2 hours early, finish setup, get all the lighting figured out, then manage her food table during the reception, cutting and plating cheesecake and sheet cake, applying caramel or fruit drizzle, bringing it to the tables, keeping water refreshed, etc. She wanted me to do it because her family would obviously want to mingle with guests. She didn't plan anything for water dispensers. She didn't have a cake tray or even put her turquoise wedding cake on. So I brought my servingware from my house, our cake tray, glass, water, dispensers and pitchers. My mum was so pissed on my behalf she un-RSVP'd herself to the wedding. But then she also loaned me her glass water dispensers too. S also needed us to buy ice for the dispensers, buy the sliced lemon. I just stopped caring at that point. She did not get lemon water at her reception. Good. The reception was basically me and my boyfriend and 2 of our children acting as unpaid cater waiters. Whew. She was 1 hour late to her reception because she didn't plan time for photos outside the temple and forgot to leave the guest book with me. So I spent an hour trying to entertain angry guests, explaining where the guest book was, explaining where the bride was. No one wanted to eat cheesecake until she arrived. Her dopey fiance left her rings at his house and he arrived 30 minutes after her because he had to drive to get them. At one point, cheesecakes were running low and someone walked up to me and said, "S, notice the cheesecake table needs to be refreshed." Thanks. Excuse me, what? Yeah, what? She then had photos going on outside the reception church, 4 pages of shots she wanted. The photographer did them backwards, and instead of starting big and winding down, she started small and went big, so everyone was outside standing around for an hour while the other guests sat inside alone, confused. I was outside for the bridesmaids photo while my boyfriend managed the food. She then came back, cut the cake, and changed to leave. She asked me to box up any remaining cheesecakes and wrap and box her wedding cake and all of the leftover sheet cake, which her mother paid for, and bring it out to her to take home with her. No surprise, people didn't want double dessert. Of course they didn't. Of 9 cheesecakes, we had 4 untouched ones left over, the entire wedding cake minus 1 slice, and almost the entire sheet cake, basically 90 of 96 slices. Yes, this woman was fully planning on taking home all 4 leftover cheesecakes that we brought, an entire 96-person sheet cake, and her wedding cake, somehow fit them in her tiny fridge and hope they would be okay when she got back from her trip in a week. She was not going to share any of this leftover food with her bridal party or family, all of whom single-handedly built her reception from the ground up and paid for the cakes. The least she could do is let you take a cheesecake and some cake home for payment for all your hard work. You weren't even invited to the wedding. She used you as her waiters, and she just used you to set up and organize as her party, you know, as her wedding planner. The least she could do is send home some food with you, and she didn't even feed you. My boyfriend was incredulous. He was actually cursing in the church. He was so mad at her entitlement. So he should. He said F no. He took her wedding cake and put it back in its box for her. He didn't wrap it in plastic or anything. He took 2 cheesecakes and put them straight into the trunk of our car for us to bring with us to a family dinner tonight. Then he boxed up half of the remaining sheet cake in an extra cake box for me to bring to work this morning to share with people. The remaining sheet cake he boxed up for anyone willing to stay after to take down the wedding. Good. S was fully out the door on her way to the anniversary inn to lose her V card and left me, my boyfriend, her family, and several kind ward members to clean up, take down all the pipe and draping, box up her centerpieces, linens, and then clean the church. We got home around 6 p.m. Saturday, physically in pain and angry, and gave all of our kids full stars for their chore charts. They get a prize at 10 stars, so they each got a full 10 stars. Yay! I don't even feel like I attended the wedding. I feel like I catered her wedding against my will. My boyfriend did a bulk majority of the work, assembling the backdrops, tables, breaking it all down, all heavy lifting, making 5 bouquets, which I learned he is excellent at, running the entire catering operation, cleaning the kitchen. I steamed 5 bridesmaids' dresses and the wedding dress and ironed 27 tablecloths. Many family members thanked us personally for the work we put in. S's mum cried and thanked us for saving the wedding and said she prays for our family and for our health and happiness every morning. Oh, that's nice. The fiance's family thanked us and said we did well and even offered to pay us money, which honestly felt so weird because they 100% should have thrown money at hiring actual reception staff, or better yet, an actual reception venue. Es gave us a quick thanks and bounced off. I don't expect to hear from her for months. Everything about her wedding felt so cheap and tacky. Dollar Tree decorations, plastic lanterns with plastic pumpkins glued on the day before, wrinkly teal sheer tablecloths and runners, hosted in the free church gym, complete with basketball hoop. Her wedding cake was teal with orange pumpkins piped on the top. Of her 250-person guest list, about 100 came. There were maybe 7 gifts total on the 2 small table and 4 cards. I assume most people used Amazon option to ship. My boyfriend said it's giving Mormon pregnancy wedding, which we thought was hilarious because we're all 36 and definitely too old for this mid-2000s cheap dollar general Pinterest board wedding vibe nonsense. I'm sorry that happened to you. Your friend took advantage of you and that was horrible. She definitely she's definitely lucky to have you as her friend, and you're definitely lucky to have your boyfriend who actually helped make this wedding go. But yeah, she's a terrible person, and I'm so sorry that this happened to you, but I'm glad everything worked out in the end. Well, that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Until the next one.